Hey, everybody, welcome back for day 77 of 100 Days of Halloween. I hope you are well and have enjoyed your day. I know this video is a little late, but I had a migraine earlier and I was having a really tough time being able to focus and look at things and stuff like that. So, 100 Days of Halloween, what are we doing? Well, my lovely friend and Yarny sister Ranee over at the Woolly Llama Shop back in July, during I do believe it was her birthday live celebration, was discussing with several of us that she wanted to do something special for the 100 Days of Halloween. And her brilliant idea was to do a 6-inch by 6-inch granny square a day to build a blanket over the 100 days leading up to Halloween, and each square would have its own either fall or Halloween themed applique, um, or the square would already have a built-in motif or fall or Halloween themed colorways, etc. I thought it was a brilliant idea, and seeing how I'd wanted to make a blanket for several years, just hadn't had the chance because lifey stuff. I decided this year was going to be it. I was going to join with her in solidarity, and so that is what I did. And we also had some Yarny friends and sisters join in as well, but they aren't making blankets. We have Nova over at Nova Gnome Creations, who is making wearables for herself and some near and dear littles in her life, which she is not going to show us until her 13 days of Halloween celebration. But she does drop a video about once a week for a square update so we can see what's going on with those. And then we have our other Yarny friend and sister, Patricia, over at the Yarny Cat Crochet. She totally went off script. She made a cell phone purse. And then shortly after that, she turned around and made a matching scarf. And then she not only did that, but she turned around and made an amigurumi. And I believe she is also in the works with another one, um, which she drops a video to update everybody whenever she does a new project. She also has a lot of things going on. She is very busy. And so we look forward to whenever she does those updates with us. And all of their things are super cute already. So back to Rainy. So, what she decided to do when she had this brilliant idea was to search the interwebs. She compiled this big long list of, at first, 100 squares that were either the motif square or appliques, etc., for fall or Halloween. And she decided she was going to draw the number that each one correlated to at random from her Jinx Jack o' Lantern of Joy. She has since added more squares to her list, although she knows she will not get to all of them. But a girl got to have options, right? And when she's drawing these at random every day, she's giving you guys these either free patterns or tutorials for inspiration to, hey, if you want to make a blanket at some point, there you go. She's already did all the work for you to find them all. Or B, you can use the squares in other projects, smaller ones like Patricia did, or the appliques as well can go on anything virtually. So, but yes, she has done all the homework for you. And she just made it easy. But did Missy take the easy road? No. Missy decided to do a little different. My squares are not the same, although some of the squares I have done have overlapped with Rainey's. I have taken inspiration from some of the ones she's drawn. Some of the ones she's drawn, I have actually already done before she drew them because I found them as well. But I'm also taking inspiration from some of the squares Nova has done, some inspiration from Patricia. I'm taking inspiration from you guys, from your guesses and suggestions in the comment section on every day's video, because I also have been compiling a long list. And also when I'm out and about in the wilds, things that I see or things I see on TV, etc. And that is pretty much how I'm compiling. And if I cannot find a pattern for something that I have stuck in my head to go on a square, I have actually been freehanding, which is more freehanding when it comes to this kind of thing than I have ever done in my life. I'm used to going rogue with amigurumi, etc. Never in a million years did I think I would be going this rogue on appliques for a Halloween blanket and coming up with my own appliques because I couldn't find what I wanted. And if I did, it wasn't free. And I wanted you guys to be able, we're trying to use free. So, I am doing at random though my squares. At the very beginning, in the midst of doing the daily squares that we were doing for each day's video, I was also making extra squares in various colors, um, whether it be solid or self-striping, like the Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Stripes and Brights, or the neon, because I'm using those colors a lot, and just making these blank squares in ready for being put into the blanket. Well, I ended up getting a stack so large, and I was pretty close to having all 100, that I tried to draw them at random from a big shopping tote from our rest in peace Joann's. That didn't work out so well. The bag wanted to collapse. It wasn't easy to draw out of by yourself. So we transitioned to a cardboard box where we are drawing them from the Boo Box of Fate at random every day at the end of the video to decide what square we are going to be working with for the next day. So, in the midst of all this, seeing how we're on day 77, of course, that means we have finished squares 1 through 76, and today's square being 77. But what I'm doing is I'm counting them in groups of 10 because it's easier for me to keep track of. And once I have all of the squares done for the group of 10, I am doing a video short and uploading it as kind of a recap before I feed them to my blanket. And if you have no idea what I mean by feeding my blanket, um, there's kind of a lot of black cats. Don't know why. Just kidding. We all know why. And if you're new here, you will figure this out. I love black kitties. I own two black kitties. Um, and have acquired 3 kittens, which we will go into on another video on another day. But yeah, so we are feeding the blanket. So since we're on our 7th group of 10, I cannot believe it has gone by this fast. So this group, we started with 71 and we are working our way to 80. So let's do a real quick rundown on where we are with those squares. And if you are new here and you do not know who my Yarny friends and sisters are, their channels will always and forever be linked in my description box. Please go check them out. And anyone else that I mention in my videos that has a channel as well. Um, when I give a shout out, please go check them out. They obviously are awesome and do some amazing crochet work, etc., or crafty goodness. And there's always a reason why we shout people out. So, with that, let's do a little recap from square 71 up to today's reveal and see where we are at. So for day 71, I had been on vacation, and in the midst of everything and drawing squares prior to vacation to get them ready so that I could pre-record so you guys would still have a video every day while I was gone, I totally forgot to draw out a square for when I returned to be able to get a video up for when I was home. So we quickly went to work on a square, and let me move my phone. I got all my information written down here. So the square we did was this one, and it is the Crochet Pumpkin Granny Square by Repeat Crafter Me. Um, all of the information for whatever day squares will be in the description box if you want to look them up and you want to make them, or but the not only is the pattern on Repeat Crafter Me's blog post in a written version, you can also find it on Yarn Inspirations in their free blanket patterns tab. And it is an actual pattern for a complete blanket that is made with all of the squares. I don't remember how many squares it takes to make that blanket, but if you just want to do the one square or just the pumpkin part, it's on Repeat Crafter Me, and you can find it in my description box. She makes some amazing patterns, and everything that I've ever done from hers is awesome. So it will continue to be a go-to for a lot of things. And then for day 72, we drew at random this Moonlight cat granny square. And this pattern is by the Crocheted Bean. I do believe it is a written version and a video tutorial. I'm not sure. I may have them both in the description box. I'm not sure. And basically it starts out with a black center circle. You work your way out to white, and then you switch off to blue to square it off. And after you get that done, you make these two little black triangles, sew them on for the ears. Then she has you just kind of put in some whiskers and whip stitch these little stars on there so it looks like stars amongst the moon. And she does not add eyes or a nose. I left it that way. I think it just gives it character and some, yeah, I think I like it. So that was super cute. And that was the Crocheted Bean. And then on day 73, we drew this pumpkin spice colored square, and I was trying to figure out what to put on it. And if you've been around a while, you guys know about this set of 5 appliques that I started working on when we very first started the blanket. The pattern is by the Caffeinated Snail, and it is for Crochet Ghost Banner. And it's a set of 5 different, and you can use them for appliques because that's what I've done. And basically, it's little ghosties in trick-or-treat outfits. The first one we ever did was the Franken Ghostie, and it was super adorable. And then we did the Pumpkin Ghostie, which is the ghost holding a pumpkin. I made extra pumpkins, made it look like it was in a pumpkin patch. And then recently, we used the Vampire Ghost. No, the third one was the Witch Ghost. And then this one that we used was the Vampire Ghost, because I know time is a ticking and we are limited on days. And I wanted to make sure that all 5 of these little trick or treat ghosties are in my blanket. Seeing as how I've already got the appliques done. So that was the Vampire Ghostie. And we only have one more left to use in between now and the very end, and that one is the Pirate Ghostie. So at some point it will be going on a square. I'm just waiting for a good color. So there was that Vampire Ghostie. Caffeinated Snail. And then on day 74 square, we drew at random this one right here, which is made from the Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Stripes in the Brights. At the beginning, I had used a whole skein to make up a bunch of squares because all of them, the way the colors transitioned, no single 2 squares were exactly the same. So, and I love the way the colors flowed and the bright colors and all that so well that I just kept going until the whole skein was gone. So there was that one. And we chose to leave it blank so we could be a little strategic, because I do have some appliques that are too big for just one square. They will have to fit onto 2. And so hopefully we can place these in a way, ones that will work, and put them close to each other so those appliques can still go on my blanket at some point by the time we're done. So there was day 74, one of my favorite ones because it's so pretty. And then for day 75 square, we drew at random this wine color. And I was trying to figure out what to put on it. And I was looking at my list of inspiration from you guys and Ranee and all that. And one of the squares she had drawn, no, it was an applique, that she had drawn was for something that was super adorable. I knew I wanted to put it in my blanket. And that applique was by Golden Lucy Crafts. And it is the candy cane unicorn. So I decided to put that on this burgundy kind of wine color. And it really made the yellow and the orange pop. And I think it's adorable. She is cute. It's making me want to do a stuffed unicorn and Ami in candy corn colors. Yeah. So we may be seeing that very soon. Shh, don't tell nobody. So there was that one for day 75. Then for day 76 square, we drew at random. It was Midnight Blue, which I do believe is Red Heart Super Saver in the color Blue Wave. And I don't have one here. I thought I had, well, no, maybe I do. Yes, it is called Blue Wave. Right there. I had like two or three of these laying around because they're so very similar to denim. And I really like the colors. So I was trying to figure out what to put on this one. And I was looking at my list again for inspiration. And there was one suggestion, comment, guess that has come up repeatedly. And off of the top of my head, I can remember two people who really wanted to see it, and that was Sam over at Memphis Makes. And if you don't know my lovely, lovely yarny friend Sam, please go check her out. You will love her too. And if you don't know who she is, I don't know where you've been, because you you're in the cool kids club if you know Sam. So, she knows I love her so much. But her and Patricia, I think they had brought this one up multiple times, if I'm not mistaken. And they really wanted to see Dobby from Harry Potter. And so I did Dobby with his sock. So Dobby is a free elf. And there is no pattern for this. I did look all over the internet. If there was an applique pattern, I never found one. And I had basically the body part. It was the head, the body part, and the arms and the legs. It looked like a little stick figure, almost could have gone into voodoo doll. I had been working it up when I was playing around with trying to figure out how to do a mummy. And the way I wanted to wrap it and everything just didn't work out. I ended up having to use ribbon. Well, it didn't look good with this flesh tone. So I ended up making the body again in white. And this one was still sitting in my box of there's unfinished appliques and there are some finished ones in there. And I kept trying to figure out what I was going to do with it. I didn't want it to go to waste. And I was looking at it and I was like, you know what? I can try and figure out ears. I can try and figure out a nose. And yes, I made it 3D. And just try and figure out how to put, his little pillowcase that he wears. And then I just freehanded the sock too. So I did finally get to end up using this applique that was initially supposed to be a mummy, but now it is Dobby. And I think he's adorable. This happens to be, besides my kitties and my purple people eater, this has to be my favorite one in that whole category right there. I absolutely love this, and I'm so glad that Sam and Patricia did not stop guessing and suggesting that, because it made me really want to make one and put it on my list for inspiration. And once I got it in my head, I had to look at some pictures from like the movie and stuff like that and try and figure out how I wanted to do it so it didn't look like creepy. So there we go. That was Dobby and his sock. Dobby the free elf. So that was day 76. And I was trying to remember what I was going to say. Like I said, there is no pattern for that. It was free-handed. maybe at some point later on when I have time, I may revisit some of these and try and figure out what I did and try and write down some patterns for them and rework them, um, and make them available. But for like right now, when I'm like in the moment of creating them, I don't stop to write things down because like I frog, I make, I frog. And I know I would lose my momentum and probably the creative process. Because once you're in the zone, you're in the zone, right, guys? So then yesterday, we drew at random a square for today, and it ended up being like this harvest gold, almost like a squash color. Now that I look at it, it does look like a squash. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to put on it that was entirely different than anything I had done yet. And so I was skimming through the internet and also screenshots on my phone of things that I found for inspiration that I might want to do later. So I was scrolling. So let's see what you guys guessed or suggested that we put on this square. Um, let's see. There we are. Oh, comments. So Ranee from the Woolly Llama Shop said she loves Dobby. He is adorable. I'm guessing that you were going to put one of the trick or treat ghosties on this square. No. Seeing as how we just use one of the trick or treat ghosties, I'll wait till we do another group of 10. I don't want them too many in the same. I'm trying to spread them out. Although I thought about it though, I was like, do it and get it over with, but I decided not to. And then Patricia over at the Yarny Cat Crochet said, "Oh, Dobby and his socks, so cute." Madison Ray said, "You did a fabulous job on Dobby. He is adorable." Thank you, Madison. I appreciate that so much. And then Patricia guessed black cauldron with green brew bubbling over. We already did one of those. If we were to do another cauldron, it would have to have a different color of goo, because I'm almost certain we did the fluorescent green goo. And that was in, I want to say it was in the first 10 days. We would have to look. And then Karen said, "I love Dobby. He is adorable." And Windrose said, "I love Dobby. You are so clever." Thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Lisa from Lisa Knit said, "Hi, Missy." Hi, Lisa. She always says hi when she pops in to check out one of our videos. If any of you don't know Lisa from Lisa Knit, she is in Australia and she does some pretty fun videos, and you kind of get to be a little tourist in some of her videos because she kind of shows you around train rides, coffee shops, things like that. It's kind of fun. And then Sam from Memphis Make said, "Oh, Missy, your Dobby and with his sock is so amazing. Guessing for yellow, maybe a big, vibrantly colored snake." No, 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 no. I have phobias with spiders, but one of the bigger phobias I have is snakes, and it is kind of a long story as to why. Two traumatic instances involving snakes that we will maybe talk about in maybe a crochet and chat at some point. But no, mm, I don't think I could put a snake on my blanket. There's one spider on there. One. If you want to see more spiders, then go over to Rainey's channel and you can check out the blanket that spiders built. One and done on my blanket is good for me. And zero snakes. So, but good guess though. And then, yeah, that's as close as you're going to get to a snake with me, that crocheted snake. And I can't remember. I think I was challenged to make that last year. Um, Guys, it's been a whole year and I don't even remember. And that's where it stays. It stays with Allianne. Um, yeah, I don't do anything with it. So At some point, it's gonna go live with somebody because it's not gonna stay here. And then Patricia at Yarny Cat Crochet said, "Now Dobby is free." Yes, yes, Dobby is a free elf. So we had a guess of a snake, a cauldron with green bubbling goo, and trick or treat ghosty. None of them were correct. Um, so what I decided to put on my square, definitely something I had not done before. And since how the blanket is fallen Halloween themed, I wanted it to be something cutesy and fun. And we've been doing a lot of Halloween characters. So I decided to go with something more fall. And this is something I have seen quite a few times of late around here, traveling, going to appointments and running errands and things. So I ended up being able to find a pattern online. I didn't have to freehand this time. And the pattern is by Crochet by Colleen, and it is called Pumpkin Truck Applique. And it's a little pickup truck, and he's hauling pumpkins. So I did the little pumpkin truck applique. This is hers right here. Oop. And I will link the information in the description box. So I did the little pumpkin truck because I have seen several trucks hauling like pumpkins, gourds, all different kinds of things. And I am assuming they either going to festivals, or they are taking those pumpkins and things to like local farmers markets and things like that. And so that was one of the inspiration things that was on my list. And I just happened to come by that applique by Crochet by Colleen. And so I decided, because it kind of looks like, we've got this harvest kind of sunset background. And I did two little pumpkins in the back. And there we go. He's on his way to the farmer's market with his pumpkins. So yeah, that was day 76 square. So let's draw for day 70. No, day 77 square. Let's draw for day 78. Um, Obviously that migraine, I'm missing time, I'm telling you. So let's shake it up and let's see what square we are working with tomorrow. Oh, okay. So we have this is Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Stripes in the neons. And rather than a granny square on this one, like we have done on a lot of the others, this one was done in C2C. And that is the right side. Yeah. Uh that side kind of looks better, but oh well. So yes, C2C in the Red Heart Super Saver neons. So I don't know, guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this one blank for maybe one of those extra large appliques. Apparently those appliques ate their Wheaties, because they're too big for a regular 6-inch by 6-inch granny square. Or are we going to put something on it? I will have to think about that one. So I guess you guys just come back tomorrow and see what we decided to do with day 78's square in the neon stripes in C2C. Yeah. So also I wanted to do a quick shout out to Find Your Joy. I watched her video a little bit ago when I was prepping dinner, and she has made some super cute makes, and she also posted them in my community tab and Rainey's, and they are super adorable. If you have not seen them, please go check them out. Like I said, in my community tab, I think there's 5, or there's several pictures, might be 5, 6, or 7, I'm not sure. I think it was all of the makes she did for the first 7 days of the she's doing kind of like a crochet or vlogtober. And she's trying to make something Halloween themed every single day. And they are absolutely adorable. Um, she really did good. Um, so I will also tag her channel. I do believe when I watched her video earlier, she was at like 174 subscribers. Please go check her out. And if you like her, she is super cute. I'm telling you, go like her video and maybe give her a little subscribe. I found her adorable. And I got to tell you, today's video, I want the glasses. I want the glasses, especially one particular pair. And if you know me, you know which ones they are when you go see her video. I need to look into those. Like, yeah. Um, so I guess with that, I'm going to let you guys go. This has actually been a little bit longer than I thought it would be. Um, and please come back tomorrow and check out what we did with the square for day 78. And please go check out all my yarny friends and sisters. All of them are going to be linked in the description box. Please go check them out. And if not, somebody you have already subscribed to. And if you like their content, please give them a thummies up and subscribe to their channel and see what they got going on. Some really fun stuff. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I love you bunches, and I will see you tomorrow for day 78. So bye for now.